Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Tucked into the rugged wilderness of Michigan's Upper Peninsula lies the Porcupine Mountain Wilderness State Park, a vast expanse of dense forest, misty ridgelines, and secluded lake shores along Lake Superior's southern edge. Commonly called the Porkies, this nearly 60,000-acre preserve is one of the last large tracts of virgin hardwood forests in the Midwest. Its cool, temperate climate nurtures a thick canopy of sugar maples, eastern hemlocks, and yellow birch, interspersed with shrub layers of beaked hazelnut, hobblebush, and mountain maple. Berry-bearing plants like thimbleberries, blueberries, and bunchberries flourish here in late summer, drawing in hungry wildlife. Among the large plant-eating animals, visitors may spot white-tailed deer, beavers gnawing through aspen trunks, or moose wading into marshy inlets, though the latter are rarely seen. Predators in the region include bobcats, coyotes, and the elusive gray wolf. Though one animal, the American black bear, is both an icon of the wilderness and a potential danger to the unwary camper. In 1975, the July sun had not yet crested the canopy of maple and hemlock trees in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and the woods were thick with silence, except for the occasional chirp of waking birds. Somewhere deep in the Porcupine Mountains, those wild rolling ridges along the southern shore of Lake Superior, 16-year-old Paul Cameron stirred inside his tent. He was a city kid from Dearborn, downstate, a place where the nights were filled with distant traffic and the buzz of streetlights, not coyotes, and wind through the ancient timber. This trip was meant to be a break from all that. The plan was simple: a week of rustic camping, clear lakes, quiet trails, and maybe a fish fry or two, if luck was on their side. The Porkies offered all of it, and more. He was not carrying bear spray, as it wasn't yet developed. He didn't pack a firearm, as it likely didn't seem necessary. There is no mention of a dog accompanying him. All accounts suggest Paul was alone or separated from the others at the time of the incident. As Paul slept, stars flashed across the sky until a noise from beyond the tent fabric woke him from his slumber. A heavy shuffle outside the tent. At first it might have been mistaken for a raccoon or a curious deer, but something about it didn't sit right. It was too slow, too purposeful. Then came the heavy breath and the grunt, the unmistakable sound of a bear. Paul froze. He didn't dare move. The nylon of his tent walls did little to separate him from what was there. He could hear it circling, sniffing, nudging the gear he'd left outside. The bear wasn't passing through. It was investigating. As Paul listened, the sniffing sound approached one of the staked corners of his tent. He watched the tent shake and then collapse on him. As soon as he realized the tent had given way, the sensation of movement overtook him as the bear dragged his tent. Tugging at the corner, the bear had dragged Paul and his tent several yards before the fabric began to give way. Unsure of just what the bear had in mind, Paul felt the rush of the evening air flood into the tent, and he knew he had an out. He rolled through the gaping tear and into the night, trying not to attract the bear's attention. After rolling a few times, Paul listened and hoped the bear had not noticed he'd escaped. Believing his best chance was to remain still, Paul lay motionless, facing the night sky. He listened as the rustle of his tent ceased and felt hot breath flood across his face. Somehow, in the dark, the black bear had found Paul's neck. She clamped down on his throat as he raised his hands to press her away from him. He felt her sharp teeth puncture the skin and tissues on his throat as he bellowed out a terrified scream for help. The bear dragged him a few yards before his pleas made her change her mind. Perhaps the bear thought he was a package of food or some other tantalizing morsel. Either way, his cry for help took her by surprise. She spun toward her cubs and disappeared into the night, leaving Paul wounded, bleeding, and terrified, but alive. Paul fled and contacted the rangers and authorities, who later investigated the site. They found Paul's tent and belongings scattered and partially destroyed. It wasn't long before the same sow returned, accompanied by her cubs, and began ransacking the area again. To prevent further danger to other campers, and because of the aggressive behavior displayed, officials decided to euthanize the mother bear and both of her cubs. The sow weighed approximately 125 pounds, small compared to black bears elsewhere, but not unusual for a female bear in this region. Despite the horrifying nature of the attack, Paul Cameron survived with relatively minor injuries. The bite to his throat could have easily severed major arteries or crushed his windpipe, but the bear's grip was shallow enough to avoid fatal wounds. Years later, the attack still echoes through the stories told by old-timers around campfires in the Porkies. A reminder that even small black bears can be dangerous, especially when food is involved or cubs are nearby. The forests of Michigan's Upper Peninsula are rich and wild and beautiful, but they're not without risk. The bear was later confirmed to be a mother traveling with cubs, likely in search of easy calories during the high-energy demands of summer foraging. Her behavior may have been both protective and food-driven. She may have been claiming his campsite as her food source and recognized his presence as a threat to her cubs. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to photos, notes, and episodes. And the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. The Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park spans nearly 60,000 acres, or about 94 square miles, along the Lake Superior shoreline. Black bears are common here, with estimates suggesting a density of 1 to 2 bears per square mile in ideal habitat during peak season. That could mean upwards of 100 bears residing within or near the park boundaries at any given time. While attacks are extremely rare in Michigan, the state is home to a stable population of around 10,000 to 15,000 black bears, with a vast majority residing in the Upper Peninsula. Fatal bear attacks in Michigan are exceedingly uncommon, with fewer than a handful confirmed over the past century. Non-fatal incidents, however, often involve food-conditioned bears or sows with cubs, as was the case with Paul Cameron. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Would the attack have happened if Paul's food had been hung away from camp? Was the sow's aggression simply a defense of her cubs, or had she grown too comfortable around human campsites? Was the decision to kill the sow and her cubs ethically justified, or could non-lethal options have been considered? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.